What's going on, you guys, and welcome to my Let's Play series, the second Let's Play series of Stranded Alien Dawn. In this one, we're going to be tackling the military outpost. We've already completed the crash landing, which is why I said this is going to be the second one. I'm going to go to the desert. We're going to do this on medium, as the desert is extremely hard. I've already tried it a couple times, and not gonna lie, it was brutal. You know what? Let's just do it on hard anyway. I like a challenge. We're going to use the seed that they just give us, curve advice. Hopefully it's a good one. Honestly. What was the seed that I was playing on? It wasn't too bad. I just was, underprepared. Expert growth. Okay. Main menu. Well, honestly, let's just hit the restart button. Yeah, let's just hit the restart button. I found a decent resources, but my problem was the fact that I was building too big, too fast. My last electrical series, right? You gotta build small, work up, don't do too much for what you don't have the resources to provide, and it was bad, you guys. Now, the combat was great. We were killing things left and right. Nothing was harming me. We were running out of food, though. I have to reset them up. Oh, no. Alright, so we've got Ember, Jack, and Ken as our 3 combat. We've got Laura as our... no, let's just go ahead and show you. Let's go into activities. Alright, so they're going to be construction, and they're going to be construction. Hunting is going to be done between the 3 of them. Harvesting is going to be Laura and Rita. Cutting, we're going to disable that for Ken, and disable the mining, disable those. Disable the cooking as Rita, and Melody are going to be doing cooking. Honestly, it's probably just going to be Rita, as Melody is going to be our research specialist. Let's disable that, and there we go for Rita. Okay, so Jax will leave this. Alright, okay, seems pretty straightforward. Alright, so let's set up our people. So we need to have them focusing on healing, primarily. Let's set hunt to 1, as this is going to be the very first thing they're going to do always. And then we're going to have Ember mining. Jack's going to cut. Ken is going to scavenge. Lara is going to plant and then harvest. Rita is going to cook. Melody is going to research and observe. Let's go ahead and put observations for 1 for all of them. That way we can knock out our observations early on. Now for the tailoring. We'll leave that at 2. I'll do that for Ken. We'll put Ken's as a 2, mainly because he doesn't have anything else as a 2, whereas Jack's got the mining set for 2. Set that for 2. We'll leave this for 3. No, set that to 4, as she's going to ranch and construct before she works. And then let's go ahead and we'll bump these to a 2. Now I want her to harvest before she plants. She's going to plant before she ranches. And then she's going to end off with tailoring. So that's our layout for now, you guys. If we find that there's something slacking in our roster, obviously we're going to come through here and adjust it as necessary. Alright, before I set their sleep schedule, the first thing that we're going to do with interacting with them is disable the raw food consumption and fight back on attack. Disable, enable. Again, and again, and again, and one final time. I said one final time. There we go. Alright, so now that that's completed, you guys, the next thing we're going to focus on is utilizing weapons. I'm going to give Ken the laser pistol. I'm going to give Jack the pulse rifle. I'm going to give Ember the sniper rifle. Honestly, I should be giving Jack the sniper, but he's a retired general. She's a Spec Ops commander. And I'm going to put the rifle in the Spec Ops commander's hand. Sorry, General, but you've been out of practice for a while. This woman is she's in it. Actively in it. So we're going to let her take care of all of that. Now next, I'm going to put the base right back over here. However, we're going to make it a little bit smaller, and we're only going to do what we need. Okay, now that that's set, let's find a couple of things to observe. Alright, let's find a food source, which we have these beautiful mushrooms and these succulent plants. I need to find some cotton. Here we are. Tall cactus. I already have that. That would go ahead and unpause. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to find the stone. We're going to get on that immediately, you guys. Immediately start harvesting stone. Get all of that. I gotta get Ken to salvage. Come over here to, we don't have it yet. I need scraps or wood first before we can do the research desk. But we're gonna do that one. We're gonna get our hot air balloon built. And then hopefully we'll have gasoline to do a mission once, it's available. And here's the weird thing. It's gone from hypothermia to, heat wave, killing you almost instantly. So let's see, what kind of housing do I want to utilize? Awful thermal insulation, strong support medium, strong support, slightly higher. That's not serious construction, okay. So I believe we already have, let's do a 9 by, no, I'm going to put the house like right here. So let's do like, what is it? That's 14, that's 10. Let's do a 9 by 9. 9 by 9 seems to be more than adequate. And if that's not enough, after we get the walls and everything up, and the ceiling, I'll see if I'll need to add on another building. Okay, so let's get this on there. Excuse me, I said let's get this on there. Just learned the liquid fuel. Perfect. Alright, so there's that. Let's go ahead and slap the door on it. We'll do a... Once I cut the trees, we'll do a wooden door. love seeing everybody, doing what they need to do. And so I'll probably have like 3 houses maybe over here, maybe a fourth one over here. We'll see how many I actually need. And that's going to be like the first line of defense here. Yeah, that'll be our first line of defense, the 4 houses. But I'm just going to build the one for now. We're going to put a little bit of a storage shed here. And unlike our last build, we're actually going to utilize multiple floors. The last Let's Play series, we had ample space to build out and spread it out. We don't have that here. So we're going to have to build a little bit more sparingly. We have to be a little bit smarter with our building style. Laura, what are you doing? There you go. Good stuff. No, we're just going to have to be a little bit smarter with how we do things here. Just a little bit. And I got plenty of rock to build with, so long as I get to it. Oh yes, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a stockpile going. Nothing too fancy, just a little somewhere where you can put your resources. And I just build like 3 of them, Nothing too serious. And then you're going to add in a wooden... I really want to put it in there. Oh yeah, the door. That's right, the door. A wooden door, we're going to put that right here. Once this gets completed, we'll get some beds put in there, and then I'll start working and focusing on the next part of my project. But first and foremost, we got a house to build. We need to give our survivors somewhere to lay their head that's not out in the open, that's not under a scrap metal tent or a shed. I want to give them a proper home right off the bat. Why are they sleeping on the floor? I don't remember enabling that. Oh well. Alright, so we're gonna go over to camp. Let's go for the ground shelters. Alright, so one here. We're gonna put one like right there. Probably put one here and one here. And then same thing over here, like that. And there, that's 7. 8 beds. Just in case we get an 8th person, we'll have all the beds available for them to sleep on. Okay, that's the house slowly coming together. It'll probably be done in like the next day or so. Now is the time to go into their schedule. Start with sleep. I like to let them sleep until 4. Nice 5-hour block here in the morning, and a 2-hour block to complete their 7 hours of sleep. Alright, and then lots of work. We're going to relax. Nope, we're going to do anything. Then we're going to have some relaxation here. We're going to have some relaxation here before work. And then we're going to have some relaxation there with a little bit of anything. And that'll be our schedule, ladies and gentlemen. 2 hours before work, 2 hours during work, and 2 hours after work. A total of 6 hours off the clock and 7 hours of sleep. That seems sufficient to me. Honestly, when I was in the service, I was working longer hours than this. So, they got this. Jack might be a little bit, it might be a little bit tougher on him. He's a little more advanced in age, but the rest of these young cats, not a problem. I'm already so much happier with the outcome of what's going on here. All right, so we're gonna get an air vent. Okay, that's gonna be the next thing. We're gonna put the air vent right in the middle in the front. We don't have any air conditioning, so that's gonna be a bit of a problem. It is it's just slightly cooler on the inside, but we don't have the roof built yet. And that'll change, and hopefully, give us a slightly cooler area on the inside of this house. Hold on. It just said that Ken was, yep, that's why. Ken is idling. I need to get Ken back into work. He needs to be pulling in the salvage, at least until I can get, here we go. Clap for that one. We need to get the salvage coming in immediately. I almost wish that I landed down here. Not gonna lie. A nice flat region. And then you've got all of this. Little water section there. Got some nests over here though. Oh well. I've got a decent spot. This back section will be heavily fortified and defended. Almost done with the house. We got the walls up. And just waiting on the last little bits of the roof to go up. And hopefully it'll be a little bit cooler on the inside. Not currently, it's a little bit warmer, actually. Okay, so we've got that going up. What's my stone looking like? I have enough. So let's go ahead and go into the flooring. And then another 9x9, followed by another 9x9. And then one more 9x9. I did say we were going to have like 4 houses. Honestly, I might be able to get everybody with their own little hut here. Alright, let's go into the walls. Stone. 9. Sorry, I'm just getting it all squared away. I'm probably going to end up just building these and then prepping. Yeah, I know how to do research. Thank you, game. Oh, speaking of the research. Okay, science. Wooden table. And there we go. Let's get that placed. Back to housing. I might just give everybody their own house. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I make another 9x9 over on this side? Oh, I definitely can. Okay, so that's another 9x9. That brings us to 5. And there we go. So we have one house for now. A little bit cool on the inside. So one house for now. I'm gonna get these paused, as I don't need them yet. So let's go to floor construction and pause, and wall construction. Okay, and the same thing over here. Let's go ahead and pause this. I don't want them throwing all of my resources away yet. And there we go. No, I need to figure out what I'm doing for my storage now that I have a place to sleep. So, stone. Where's the middle one? These two. All right, so it's going to be its own building. Okay, I want to leave about a 6 gap in between. And then let's make this even to that. And that's our, hold on, I don't like how small that is. One, two, three, 4, 5. I want it to be 6 on that right side. There. So that's going to be the size of our storage facility. Let me see if I can stretch it out this way a little bit more. I really can, though. And there we go. No, honestly, I want to have a little bit of room to get around on this side too, so let's up to here. I'm gonna start from over here. And cancel. There we go, that works. I'll have a little bit of space to maneuver around this way, a little bit of space to move around this way. I'll have my, I hope that's enough room for that orbital thing. But we're gonna have to have the relay back here. Have some flat cannons on this. And then I'll probably put some regular turrets on top of this. And that should be it, really. I don't think I'll need anything more than what's right here. Which leaves plenty of room out the front. Not gonna lie. Okay, so now that that's done, let's go towards our defenses. Let's select fortification, and we only have access to the wood right now. So we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna see where we can start in the cliff. Oh, right there. Okay. See here. And just run it all the way across. Huh? Hold on. There we go. That's a better place to run it to. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel this section of wall, as it is unimportant now. Cancel it all out. And there we go. The next thing we need is a gate. Now I want to try and make it probably like right here. You know, if they're coming from the left, I don't want them to have to do a whole bunch of walking around. And if they're coming from the right, again, likewise, I don't want them to have to do a whole bunch of walking around. So I think right there will be ideal. And then from this, we'll create our little trap wall. I'm probably going to have to make more fortifications, but that's fine. So long as there's some sort of, path for them to get in, is all that matters. Alright, so we have people listening, hanging out. So, come over here to research. Let's get the long distance travel going. What's another good thing we could run currently? Let's get the weaponsmithing, we'll get that running, and spaceship deconstruction. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, now that that's running, try and find some more stone. No. Those are down here. That's a mission to get to. I don't want to be going too far for my resource gathering. It's not like we have the nice, beautiful drones that we had in the last one to transport things back and forth for us yet. So we're just going to use the local stone. Where was it? Rock and rock chunk. Okay, now that that's gathered, let's go ahead and start cleaning up the base. We're going to cut the tall cacti. We're going to harvest the cloth. We're going to cut that down. We're going to cut this down. Make sure it's all observed first. Same with this. Could observe that smoke leaf. And then in here, cut all that down. As well as this. Observe the blade of grass. Observe the tall grass. I can't believe we almost got rid of our grain. Oof. Okay, then we're going to cut down that tall cacti. And observe that. Okay, then hit start. And that'll give our people enough to do to keep them occupied for a little bit. Now the next thing I'm going to look at is production. We're going to go ahead and get a couple furnaces running. We're just going to put them along this section of wall here. A total of 6. And we can begin getting our metal, getting our cement, brick, and all of that stuff squared away. The next thing I'm going to look at is get a chopping block. I'm going to put the chopping block right there. Next on our list, I'm going to grab the workbench and a tailoring bench. And I'm not sure where I'm going to put these in. So for now, we're just going to lay them right over here. That was the workbench and that the tailoring bench. And they're going to go up against this wall for now. Alright, and that seems to be it for production. Lighting is fine as well. Power. Yes, we're going to need some power. However, I don't have anywhere to put it yet. I mean, it's all going to go in here once we get the storage and everything squared away. But first, you got to build the flooring. Okay, so let's go for the second house then. Or, honestly, I'm going to stand by, okay? I was going to go ahead and start building a whole bunch of other stuff, but, you know, I had a problem with my last run through, and that was building too much and not enough harvesting. So we're going to let them knock all this out. And we're only 29 minutes in. This is fantastic. I guess with my last video, because I said I was a couple videos in, but I was completely unhappy with how the series was going. I was even more unhappy with the commentary. You know, there was a lot of dead space as I just got done doing my last playthrough of this game. So majority of the things that I had to talk about have already been talked about. But now that I'm feeling more confident with our base layout, I'm feeling more confident with my abilities with this game. And you know, a second cup of coffee doesn't hurt. So let me go ahead and get that going. Yeah, I did end up deleting the few videos that I had prepped for this series. It happens. especially with me. Commentary aside, which I'm always having to work on that. I'm never completely satisfied with the commentary, but commentary aside, I wasn't satisfied with the actual gameplay. Like, we had a sloppy base. There was no planning. The farm was all in shambles. I was throwing traps where I didn't need them. I was throwing materials where I didn't need them. I was building too big. Like, I was turning this right here, right? Okay, so we're under attack. I'm going to pause it really quick. So this, I hadn't built anything, but like you guys saw, you might have seen when we restarted, I had the wall, not even placed, but we were building this. We were building a big facility, right? With nowhere to actually hold our people. It's warmer in there than it is outdoors. What the heck? Is this open? Yeah, it's open. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But oh well. Let's go ahead and grab our survivors. And let's bring them all to here. And hit the fast forward button. And we're only being attacked by some scarab beetles, so we should be fine. As long as we gather together. And here they come. Now the benefit of having 6 survivors early on, you guys, is already over. Hunt that up. Let's go ahead and hit the observations. We'll get butchering going. Oh well, it's just one little spot that's broken. But yeah, I had this right here. I had the walls and all the ceiling. Like, we had all the floor done. Didn't even have the walls going. Like, we were still working on the floor. But we got hit by a severe heat wave. Not even just a heat wave, but a severe heat wave. Temperatures were skyrocketing, above 120 degrees Fahrenheit. 128, I believe, is what it was registering at, which I think is the equivalent to around 40, it's like 36 to 40 degrees Celsius. I'm not 100% on the Celsius as I am an American, and we do the Fahrenheit. We do everything else, we do everything backwards. Not really backwards, we do it all different. The rest of the world, you guys do the metrics and we do imperial. You guys do kilometers, we do miles. You do Celsius, we do Fahrenheit. We do inches and all those other. We do it all different. But so I think let me actually double check here. I do have something called a smartphone, as does everybody else. Let me go ahead and bust out the old smartphone. Okay, let's see. 128 in Celsius. Wow, 53.33 degrees Celsius is what it was reaching. Is that accurate? 130 is equal to 54.4. Yeah, that's about accurate. Hold on, let's see what's 116, because that's what it gets here. Wow, okay, nice 46 degrees Celsius, almost 40 degrees, 47 degrees Celsius is my high summer temp for the area that I reside in. Or for Fahrenheit, 116 degrees. It's dry heat, thankfully. If it was humidity, I would be dead, as would be everyone else. I hear that the humidity in Florida is, in the high 90s, but their temps are only in the 90s themselves. So, I've heard stories that they go outside and they're already like sweating. It's like they're taking a nice, and it's not nice, but they go into like a sauna or something. They step outside and they're instantly just wet and sticky. Here in California, where I live, you go outside in the summer and you turn into beef jerky. It is super hot and really, really dry. I don't know what's worse, the humidity or the dry heat. I guess they both have their downsides. They both have their things that just make them absolutely unbearable. Like the humidity, it's the stickiness, it's the wet on top of the heat, which it turns it into like a sauna, a sweat box. It's all nasty and muggy and just disgusting. And then you have the polar opposite here on the West Coast in California, where it's really, really, really dry. You know, you can rub two sticks together, fart on it, and it's liable to catch on fire. Let's just put it that way. You can snap your fingers in the brush and, ignite it. It's not that dry. We're not, we're not Australia, but, we're close. We're really close. We constantly hit it getting fires every single year. Mainly because people haven't figured out that lighting fireworks off in a dry forest is a bad idea. Or doing a reveal party for, are we having a boy or are we having a girl? And you have some sort of like little explosive, which that was like two years ago, massive fire, which burnt over 100,000 acres? I think it was like 10,000 acres. But regardless, it burnt down way too much. And that was just one of the many, many fires. We're bound to get a ton of fires, and we've already had a couple fires, honestly. We had the Palisades fire, which took out, all of the rich people, including a home owned by Mel Gibson, I believe. Or did that got robbed? Well, something like that. But regardless, we already had a couple fires, and we're bound to have a couple more. We're just starting our summer. It's not looking good if we've already had a couple fires, and honestly, the last fire was one of the most expensive fires that we've had. It's not looking good for our fire year. Not looking good at all. Now let's see, she still has plenty of stone over on that right side over there. She went and gathered all of this first. Let me see if we have some more stone on hand. I'm going to need her to grab it up for me. Get somebody to observe that. We only got one rock chunk here. Now here's another little rock location. And then we have this over here. So let's gather that up. Let me see, how's my food looking? Honestly, I can use a little bit more, so let's go over here. Did I observe this? I did. Did I observe this? I did. Perfect. Now we're gonna harvest it, like so. Okay, then over here, we're going to cut down, and we're gonna harvest, and we're gonna harvest. And then we're gonna harvest. And we're not going to cut any of this down. We're just going to harvest it until it's all out of our way. Now, I am going to have to cut this down, though. Cut that, and mine that. I'm not going to be able to mine that one as it's in the rock. I might be able to get that one. But this one, that's too far in there. Honestly, let's just leave it active, and if she's able to mine it, then she's able to mine it. Alright, so next thing on my list. Now we have our sleeping spot, we have our campfire to build. Stone campfire. Build that one right there, and that's going to give us some food. After that, we have our food, we have our other things. However, we need a drying rack. Just one for now. We're going to put that right here. After that, we're going to go over to leisure. We're going to slap a dartboard together. I'm going to put it on this back wall. What do you mean access restricted? Oh well, let's put it on the inside of the house then. You want to be a pain in my butt? There. I'll work around you. So after that, the next thing we're going to do is lightning rods. Let's begin to get the lightning rod coverage on the house. So one here. We're probably going to have a couple of these, as I'm going to set this up a little bit differently. And that takes care of that. Now for back here. Probably put one here, one way back here in the corner, as far in the corner as I can get it. One right here. Probably one right there, and I'll throw another one like right there. And that should be more. Nope, I'm gonna need one more. Throw another one right there. And that's the coverage for the entirety of the base, with overlaying sectors of coverage. Okay, so we have that done. Next on my list, take a look at research. Get the balloon optimization rocking and rolling. Get bench press. Seems like something useful. Okay, so we have power. Get pickling. And I'm just gonna leave that for now. I don't want to over prepare with the research. No, I also want to get things built, things harvested. So that should be good for now. And we're just going to let them run. No, we're not. We need wood. We need more wood. So harvest, cut, cut. And I guess harvest. Let's get a little bit of smoke leaf on the base. Or in the base. What's this here? Harvest that smoke leaf. And there we go. Go ahead and get this crafted up, and then once that's done, we'll see where we're looking and continue with our progression. So we do have the ability to dismantle all of the things that we had already had ready to go. Looks like we have some things that fell a little bit closer. I'm going to activate them, give Ken a couple options. Honestly, I'm going to disable this one as it's just a little too close to that nest. I feel that they'll aggro to him if he's here harvesting. Likewise with that and these others. There's a lot of good spots out here, but they're just too close to a nest. Okay, so that should be good. Let me take a look over here, see what we have. Nothing really, just a bunch of rock, which, you know, I'll keep that in mind. We're going to need it. And then some. Hit the butcher on the flathead animal. Let's go ahead and hit the mining option on that. And then let me take a look down here. Let's get the rock chunk, let's get the rock, and there we go. So indoors is a nice 78 degrees. Outdoors is, it depends on where you're standing. If you're ever by the furnaces, you're gonna be burning up. Okay, so scrap until 100. And we're going to run that for half of them. That way we have 3 sources. Get rid of that. Get rid of that, and get rid of that. Okay, research. After we get that unlocked, the next thing I want is my concrete. We'll be able to upgrade the wall right here, at least to concrete. and then I can start planning out the layout of the traps. Now it's more or less just going to be a series of boxes within boxes with a network of like a little tunnel system, if you will. So I'll have like another row, and then another row, and then within the 3 different rows it'll be like all twisting and turning and going this way and going that way, and there'll be different branches that they can go down, so that if they get stuck here they can go and get stuck that way, and you know, hopefully make a nice little trap for them. That way all I have to do is just stand back and watch as the easy traps take care of them. Now the only thing I'm going to have to worry about are the flyers, which we're going to have flat cannons here. I might have a couple flat cannons intermingled on top of the roofs over here, but I'm also mainly wanting to put the other turrets, the non-flat turrets. I'm thinking about maybe once you get to this part, having an open, well, I don't know honestly how I'm going to do it. We'll just see how we get there. You know, usually when I plan ahead like this, things don't go the way that I want them to. Bring everybody back. I'll usually come up with a really good plan, and then I won't engage with it because I'll do some other random plan that my brain's like, hey, let's do this. And, you know, I end up doing that instead. But I guess it's not a bad thing to do either. You know, I'm brainstorming with you guys. Jack, what are you doing? You have a weapon. Why aren't you coming over here? I selected everybody. I don't understand this. Hold on. There we go. Jack, get over here. Nonsense. We're being attacked from down here, so they're going to have to maneuver all the way around it, up to here, and then to here. So since that's the case, I was thinking about making some sort of trap tunnel and then having it go back and forth, so it's not like a straight line, but it'll like wind back and forth, making them go this way and then that way and then this way and then that way. The entire time, though, going through these. Maybe even some of these, I don't know, but going through these the entire time, just full of traps. I might have an automated turret here and there. Probably not, though. I'll probably just want to do the traps and see how that handles. Nice, they're helping out. I want to get some of these, you know, for base defense. Those things look pretty cool. And they were given the Juno problems. I like seeing that. I really like seeing something giving the Juno an issue. So this is a big guy. And I'm trapped. Observe. Butcher. Do I have this observed already? I already have it observed. Cool. Go ahead and butcher them. Get these 2 butchered. Hopefully nobody's bleeding. I don't have the bench made yet. No, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Alright, but I'm going to want to get these built as soon as I can. Get the walls up. I'm going to need to get the storage facility up. Oh, and Laura's injured. What happened with that? Continuing her. Where's Laura? Okay, Laura's fine. Oh, it's the toxic ash. I was like, why are people getting hurt still? We're not under attack. Toxic ash. It's affecting their lungs. Nice hot cup of coffee. Nothing better. Well, there's a few things better, but, you know, we're trying to beat the PG-13 here. Let's have a couple more of those lightning rods to build. And it looks like we're just beginning to get started on this. This is all ready to go, though. Hold on. I'm going to put everybody's construction to a 5. That way, if they're ever idling, they'll be able to get to work on stuff. And we have a couple things here that need to be built. And not a whole lot of stuff selected. Now Jack's still going to go and harvest all of this, as his primary focus is going to be chopping down the trees. Maybe even doing a little bit of butchering as well. I have Ken, Ember, and Jack as my butchers. It comes with the hunting roll. Laura's over here constructing the floor, as I don't really have a need for food yet. Juno Demolisher, that's new. I've only ever seen the Juno. That's what I thought it was. Juno Demolisher, though, that's kind of cool. Okay, then over to leisure. Oh, my balloon, hold on. Science. Put the balloon over here. Yeah. Nice and protected. Oh, we're on day 12. Ew. Well, we haven't had any missions yet, so that's a nice little bonus, I suppose. But it's time to get this constructed. And Rita's going to get it done for us. At least the prep. Do I have the gas? Oh, I do have some gas. Nice. Yeah, we need to get this built immediately, you guys. I need to get my goods inside. And since they're currently working on the floor, I'm going to get the walls going. And then gonna need to have a door to get in and out of. Probably put that as close to the middle of here as we can. Middle of this facility. And ceiling. Let's get the ceiling prepped. And there we go. Now we just need to get that all built up. Yeah, my last problem was didn't have nowhere to sleep. So now we have somewhere to sleep. My survivors won't be dying. Yeah, they were struggling. Had them sleeping outside, and yeah. But doing significantly better this time around. I'm gonna need Ember to do some more mining immediately. Oh yeah. Let me just sense me to observe those. Observe this. Observe that. Okay, then let me go ahead and look through and see if there's anything that I need to... Twisted plants. No, that's purple stuff. See if there's any plants in here that I need to research. Like the broadleaf bush. I've got this learned. Oh well. Melody's already at level 6 construction. Nice. Okay, so one thing we have to do that I just noticed is we're just gonna have to pause all of this. Or at least half of it. I need this up immediately. We're already on day 13. Go ahead and pause construction, I suppose. And I don't think they'll get to work on the walls first. I'm not sure. So let's, I guess, be safe. Let's go ahead and pause the walls as well. Over here, pause the walls. And pause the walls. Okay. Now it should get to work on that. Or the fortifications. Okay, so pause the fortifications. I'm going to reselect the fortifications as soon as that balloon gets done. And there we go. And then we can pause a couple of these. And since there's no walls built, they can't build the roof, so they'll go immediately into building this. Or they're building the roof. Okay. Do that then. Construction sites, pause. Construction sites, pause. And then one more time. There. Build this. Build this. Come on, Laura. Thank you. Lord. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see what that distress signal has to offer us, as we are out of time. So, thank you guys for coming through. Hopefully, we have some of you who are cooperating in this Let's Play. We're going to get this thing done for you guys if you are. We're playing on hard mode, so try and get you a trophy while we're at it. 2 trophies, finishing the military outpost and, hard mode completion. So, thank you guys for coming through. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day or night, depending on where you're viewing from. You guys take care, you stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later, guys.